This is Jordan's Vision. Pull up a seat and kick up your feet. Welcome, guys. How we doing? Time for another Beyond Belief Fact or Fiction reaction. We are on Season 4, Episode 8 now. This season's been up and down. First it was up. Got started pretty good with a couple of 4s. Then it went down a little bit. Got a 0. Got a 1. And then I kind of redeemed myself last episode with 3. So hopefully on the up and up again. Season total right now is at 19 out of 35, which I think is about my average. I think it's still maybe a little bit short of my average. So looking to have another good one to maybe get it back up there. So episode 8 coming right up. Let's just get into it. Here we go. Before I get started, please remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and don't forget reacting to art is sharing art. Channels like these benefit everyone from the viewers all the way up to the original creators themselves. Also, reminder, spoilers are likely, so if you haven't seen this episode yet and would like to, please feel free to click off and take care of that first. I'll be here when you get back, but for those of you who are sticking with me, pull up a seat, kick up your feet. This is Beyond Belief Fact or Fiction Season 4, Episode 8. We're running out of episodes, guys. Here we go. Ooh, what's that picture?
Take a look at the normal-looking man in the background.
Yeah.
And the miniature, childlike figure in the foreground. Is it possible they're really the same size? It's not only possible, it's an absolute fact.
Yeah, I thought that's where that was going.
It's not an easy challenge, but then again, that's where we separate the men from the boys.
Let's go.
There are few things as beautiful as the glow of a candle. The warm glimmer of light.
This is a pretty candle. Yeah.
The late mother of Caitlin Woods designed this particular piece of sculpture. She was a talented woman who passed on to her daughter an artistic soul.
Props to the designer.
Full of pride, but the candle that lights Caitlin's spirit refuses to go out.
Eternal flame, I guess.
I was away at college when my father was a victim of a home invasion robbery. When he tried to stop the thief, he suffered a massive stroke.
Oh, no.
How you doing, Daddy? My mom had passed away years earlier, so I moved back to help with my dad.
Family snake bitten, man.
Shouldn't be my nurse. You have a life you should be living in.
Daddy,
It's
we've been
true,
over
but
this
family is
again and
family.
again. This is where I'm supposed to be right now.
I can totally understand the mixed feelings.
Our home was filled with her creations, especially the beautiful things she did with candles. There was one that had an inscription on the holder.
Okay.
When you need to light your way, remember my love and let it sparkle for you that day.
Oh, that's
That was
beautiful.
my favorite. But it was gone.
Oh, she
The
lost
thief had
it?
stolen it the night of the
Ah,
robbery.
no.
Day after
Friggin'
lunch.
hate thieves, man.
It made. Remember this place, Daddy?
The first time your mom and I took you in there, you were 2 years old.
Oh, no.
Are you okay?
Please watch my father.
Caitlin, what are you doing?
Yeah, that's probably the same guy, isn't it?
An invisible power seemed to be forcing me to follow him.
Got him. That one window shade was kind of flickering. Maybe you went in there. Oh, no. Always keep your back to the wall when you're doing stuff like that. Oh, he's got a weapon. Oh, there's the candle. I was gonna burn his hideout down.
I don't know how the fire started, but it made the thief run away.
Yeah, where'd it come from? Like, was the candle lit?
I thought I would die. But then the fire went out all by itself, and then I
Wow.
saw it.
Magic fire.
It was the candle that had been stolen from our home the night my father had the stroke.
Dad, you'll never believe
No,
this.
You're all right.
Look what I found.
It's the candle your mother made you.
Yeah, the junkie who stole my purse must have been the same guy who robbed the house.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
What's this?
Yeah, what's that?
Daddy, it's a diamond necklace.
So that's where she put it.
Oh, that is hers? I was wondering if maybe the thief stashed it in there.
Your mother was going to surprise you with it on your birthday. She never did tell me where she hid it.
Like Mom.
Beautiful.
I had the necklace appraised, and we were shocked to find out it was worth almost $100,000.
$100,000? Did she actually buy it for $100,000? That'd be crazy.
And I was able to go back to school and finish my law enforcement degree. My mother's candle did light the way.
Law enforcement degree to
What's at play here?
get those baddies.
But who lit the candle during the struggle? And why did the fire that saved Caitlin's life go out so quickly? Was it a sudden gust of wind? Or the spirit of Caitlin's mother watching over her?
It's getting to be a recurring theme in these, but there's some parts I believe and some parts I don't believe. Like, obviously, if there's this serial thief going around town, it's probably not that outrageous that, the same person who robbed the house also stole the purse. And I could see why she'd want to pursue that, because, she had already been through one robbery and, was probably just sick of it. So yeah, but when they get there, somehow the candle lights itself and, lights, the place on fire. And then as soon as, the thief escapes, the fire goes away. So the first half of that story, I can believe. Second half of the story, I mean, maybe the candle was lit in real life, I don't know. And maybe the place did light on fire, but then how does the fire just disappear? Fire doesn't do that. Fire is persistent. It is a story that's like 75% believable, but yeah, the fire is just too much for me. And it sounds like somebody could have written this story. It was like everything happened perfectly. As much as I love that story, and I'm so glad it had a happy ending, I am going to say the first story is fiction. Let's get to the next one.
Nature has provided flowers with many attributes. Their beautiful appearance, their fragrant smell, their delicate feel.
I can smell that image right now.
Detective Russ Parker is not a man who fusses over petunias. He's a hardened veteran of the force whose only use for a flower is to hide a wiretap inside. Been called
You
to
see a cop
investigate
wearing a
death
flower,
at
you know what it
flower
is.
shop. And there's a familiar fragrance in the air. The scent of murder.
All right, what do we got? Tacoma, Washington. Specific this time.
Male, Asian, about 60 years old, owns a shop.
So,
And,
killed the shop owner.
witnesses.
Does he have cameras?
Oh, I gotta get my wife some flowers. It's our anniversary tomorrow.
There he
I
is.
think this shop is closed, unfortunately.
In fact, the whole scene is clean.
Yeah, the killer was probably wearing gloves.
No kidding.
No blood or anything?
College?
The guy put up quite a struggle. Whoever did it finally finished him with a garden hose. Crushed his windpipe.
Garden hose.
His
So
open,
strangulation?
All the money.
Would you say found him?
Ah, his nephew.
Okay.
Yeah, he's pretty shook up.
He looks sad. I hope it wasn't him.
I love my uncle. He was like a second father to me. He took me in and he taught me the business.
Somehow I'm suspicious
Did
of
he
him.
have any-
I don't know why, but I am.
Thanks.
We're, sorry for your loss.
I mean, he looks sad, but I don't know. I just have a feeling.
No suspects, no witnesses, no prints.
Someone just committed the perfect murder,
All right,
I
let's
guess.
round up some of the transients. We'll see if any of them have upped their standard of living.
You're just gonna arrest some randos?
I have a better idea. Why don't we put together a lineup?
Lineup? How do we have a lineup if we don't have any witnesses?
The plants were here.
The plants are witnesses?
Well, he was a little out there, but he had this theory that plants have the same emotions and reactions that we do.
Where you
This guy
going
for
with
real?
Comstock hooked up a plant to a polygraph machine and exposed it to all kinds of different violent acts, like boiling a lobster alive. The needles went nuts. I saw it myself.
I've never heard of anything
Anyway.
like that. Let me guess, this is gonna work.
I made him do it after hours, though. I didn't dare use any of the regular polygraph guys. They would have laughed me right out of the station house. So San
Usually
Antonio
for good
got his
reason,
own
but-
professor to... I can't believe we're doing this.
First man,
Well,
step
here
up,
we
state
are.
your name.
My rights are being violated. I want to see a lawyer.
Shut up and say your name.
It's Ray Dietz, and I didn't do nothing.
You might be suspicious of him now. I don't know who he is, but
All right, get back in line. Next man, same routine.
Flowers didn't do anything though, so.
Okay, that's good.
That was the last one. You
And
sure your
nobody?
machine's hooked-
Yeah, it's hooked up right.
Well, maybe one of your leaves was having a hard time remembering.
Oh, is it the nephew?
What's going on? I saw the lights.
Oh, yep. Now I think the flower's going crazy. Yep. I told you it was the nephew.
You guys get any leads yet on who murdered my uncle?
I think they just did.
See, a witness just turned up.
His name is,
I
Rose.
didn't know there were
Rose
witnesses.
Tulip.
Yeah, there was a witness. And he just identified you as the killer.
That's crazy.
Why'd you do it, Steve?
Why'd you do it, Steve?
I didn't kill my uncle.
See, I think you did.
I hope the guy is actually guilty and the flower thing
After
isn't
2
just...
hours of questioning,
Yeah.
Steve Saito finally broke down and confessed to the murder of his uncle.
Okay, he
His
confessed.
motive? An inheritance he didn't want to wait for.
Yeah, that'll do it.
After he confessed, he asked me who the witness was. I told him I was sure he knew him.
Yeah, you've met.
Actual studies have shown that plants and flowers respond to outside stimuli. They even grow faster when they're talked to and treated with love.
Yeah, I've heard of
The story
that.
of the
Well, first things first, I'm glad I got the murderer right away. Maybe I'm a little smarter than a flower, but could a flower actually act as a witness? If this is a real thing, like, I don't know why they don't do this more. But plants, they are living things. They're not, like, as sentient as we are, but they are living things. Is it possible they can respond to things the way we do? And, like, recognize people the way we do? There are probably some scientists that would say that maybe they can. I thought that first story was a little outrageous. I thought this one was kind of outrageous, but, you know, maybe there's some truth to it. The whole plants kind of have feelings and plants can have memories and, you know, you talk to a plant, it stimulates them. And I'm not the kind of person that does talk to plants, but I do talk to my cat, even though she has no idea what I'm saying. But, you know, this is one I'm going to take a chance on, and I'm going to say true. Got one of each. Let's see what story number 3 is.
Nobody has ever captured the imagination
Houdini.
of the American public like Harry Houdini.
Yep.
Even with the modern, spectacular heirs to the throne, consider
David
Houdini
Blaine,
the
anyone?
greatest escape. Houdini had his imitators and competitors, but the only ones who came close were Leonard and Philip Kirby.
Kirby brothers, eh?
They claim they can escape from anything, including their fate.
Guess we'll see. Okay, Lower Manhattan, 1925. We got a location for this one, too. This is around Houdini time.
The first time Frederick Raine saw the Kirby brothers perform, he knew they had something only the great ones possess. Frederick had always
Straitjackets?
dreamed of...
Okay. Guess they did it. I could not do a backflip like that, especially with the hood on.
Unfortunately, he was only able to get the brothers' sporadic bookings. All the public wanted was to see Houdini.
It's hard to be
In
second
spite
to
of all
Houdini. Be dead in there. Oh. He's gone.
Where's my brother?
Right here, Leonard.
Rumors.
There you are.
It was said that they had a curse on their heads, put there by a gypsy from a little-known town in East Europe. As punishment for stealing the gypsy's secrets, one of the brothers would die while performing an escape.
You really want to test that?
I'm so sick of the great Houdini.
Calm down, Leonard.
I won't calm down. He's holding us back.
He's a great artist, Leonard.
Mm-hmm.
He's earned his acclaim.
You guys got to earn it too.
We could do it faster and better.
Leonard,
Okay.
what's the point? If we just keep duplicating Houdini's tricks, we'll never get out of his shadow.
Yeah, you got to do something original.
Something more dazzling than being buried alive.
Then that's what we'll do.
Tightrope walk or
Harry
something?
Houdini, that we're the greatest escape artists in the world.
Hope you don't die trying that.
Philip was to be entombed in a coffin of ice for 24 hours.
Leonard.
Okay. How did he get in there?
Just see. Well, what if something goes wrong?
It won't. If
That's not what the magic lady said.
Problem, do you?
I'm just worried about you boys.
I won't die in there, Frederick. I promise you.
I hope you can promise that.
You are witnessing something that has never been attempted before. Not even the great Houdini himself could have imagined it.
Oh, he probably would have got there.
My brother will remain entombed inside this frozen casket for the next 24 hours.
So,
Go about your business, but I guarantee that every time you return, my brother will still be inside this coffin of ice.
I was going to say, I don't think the audience is going to stay there for 24 hours. So it's like, how do you know for sure?
With only 2 hours left, the Kirby brothers were about to make history.
He still look okay in there?
Help me.
Oh, help me.
Help
He's saying help me.
We have to get him out. What's wrong? It's the curse. He's gonna die in there.
Someone melt that block of ice. Or smash it. Oh. Watch where you're swinging that thing. Don't hit him when the ice is gone.
How did we do? 22 hours.
22 hours, yeah.
Right?
Leonard!
To Philip's shock, his brother Leonard was dead.
He's the one who
An
died.
autopsy was
Wow.
performed. Some suspected it was his heart, but Leonard Kirby was in perfect health and only 23 years old.
Hmm.
After Leonard
Strange.
Kirby's death, his brother Philip retired. Houdini himself died a year later from a burst appendix.
I never heard of the Kirby brothers. Of course, they changed the names in the show too, but I've never really heard of anyone else around the time of Houdini who really got famous. Like, I'm sure other people like tried to be Houdini and stuff like that. Like, these are guys who are trying to be Houdini. You know, they try a big trick that, you know, they think will work. There's just a little bit of twist at the end. You think that it's the guy in the ice who's going to die, but it's actually the guy breaking the ice. That much is a little crazy, but it's not a lot crazy. Yeah, I could definitely see this one being real. And if it is real, I'm going to look up the Kirby brothers, because that is a very fascinating story. So yeah, let's mark this one as true. All right, story number 4.
Bicycles. Like everything else, they don't make them the way they used to. This one, made years ago, was built to last.
A few years since I had a bike. I kind of like one again.
Nick and Kenny Morgan are about to come across this bike, and they're going to make some changes to it. But what they're really about to change is their future.
All right.
I had just picked up my younger brother Kenny at the county prison farm. He needed some clothes, so we stopped at a thrift shop on the way home.
But they
Kenny
find a
had
bike.
just done 6 months for a drunken brawl in a bar.
6 months?
Really,
did he stab someone?
He wasn't
That's like a night in the drunk tank, where I come
It
from.
was real hard. You know, I was glad he was out of jail, but the bad news was I just lost my job and I was going through my savings real fast.
Money's tight, man. Money's tight.
Look at this thing. It's a classic. It's got to be at least 50 years old. And they only want $5 for it.
It's because it's falling apart.
$5 for an old bike.
Rust. It's a piece of junk.
Okay, so it needs a little work.
I mean, will it actually
We can
run?
Fix it up. It'll be a blast. We can do it together.
I don't know.
Come on, Nick. It's only $5. I'll pay you back.
Something.
I'd like a bike
There
for
was something
$5.
About that and he was right. You know, it was fun working on it together. It was like we were kids again. For a while,
It'll keep him from
everything was
punching people
okay.
in bars.
We were going out every day looking for work. It was pretty discouraging, but I knew I'd get something. Kenny was another story.
Maybe get a job fixing bikes.
It's only been a week. I've been in jail, Nick. Nobody wants me.
It is hard to recover from something like that.
That night, Kenny started drinking again. And with Kenny, one beer was one too many.
Yeah. Some people just shouldn't drink.
I know what you're like when you start drinking. Oh, would you just leave me alone, man? You're not my dad.
Do you want to go to jail again?
Yeah. That's the start of it right again.
You know, it ain't gonna be 6 months this time. It's gonna be a lot more. Well, who cares?
Probably thinking if he's in jail, he won't be homeless.
We're not even like this.
And that's the meaning of friends don't let friends drive drunk. Oh,
Sorry, man.
I woke up the bike.
I thought it was broken.
Yeah, what's it doing? Or,
There's something inside the handlebar.
wait, what is it?
I don't believe this. This is property of Johnny Morgan.
Johnny Morgan.
Dad.
It's their dad?
That can't.
It says, if found, please return to 1267 Maple Drive in Hackensack, New Jersey.
They just bought their dad's bike.
And we got the surprise of our lives when the person who answered the phone said he was our father's brother. And we never
met
even
before?
knew we had an uncle. Mentioned him, and well, Glenn didn't know about us either.
That's crazy. Family reunion.
Our mom took this when John first got it. He was just 16
Oh,
years
picture,
old.
yeah.
I can't believe you found this thing way out here. It was stolen in Hackensack 40
Stolen.
years ago.
And he just kept that note in the handlebar.
Well, he never told us about you.
Oh, they have some kind of fight?
Your dad and I started this construction company when we were both in our early 20s.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had this bad falling out, and he moved away, and
That's pretty sad.
never even. We were both real stubborn. And the years just passed.
Yeah. Don't let this happen to your family.
Look, I still have the company that your dad and I started.
Oh, he does have it,
Not
huh?
the biggest. I really could use some help.
Well,
You want us to work for you?
they got jobs.
With me.
Looks like I got a job, Nick.
Looks like it. Looks like you both got jobs.
And we didn't take a whole lot with us, but we made sure we took our dad's old bike.
Yeah.
A bike that had been lost for 40 years is suddenly found by the owner's son thousands of miles away. Just a coincidence? If so, how do you explain the bike's broken horn starting to beep just as the brothers began to fight?
That was dad breaking them up, I guess. Apparently, like, the brother and the uncle, after they had their fight, kind of moved far apart. Like, Hackensack isn't where the brothers lived, and where they found the bike. So it is kind of a stretch to think, the bike was stolen from Hackensack and ends up, in this other town, like 50 years later, or 40 years later, however long the bike was stolen. That much is a little wild to me. Like, if it was the same town, I could see it. Like, the bike is stolen and it just ends up in a thrift shop a couple minutes away. That much I could see. And it just happened to end up in the town where the brothers live now. It's a lot for me. And I mean, everything else in the story, I could definitely believe. It's just a lot that, the bike that was stolen from the father was found in the city where the father eventually moved to, like, years later. I'm just having a real trouble with the actual distance the bike traveled and the coincidence of it being where the father eventually moved. So it's a good story, and if it is true, I'm glad the brothers found their uncle and stuff, but I don't know. I don't think I believe it. I'm gonna mark it as fiction. We got one more, and then we get our answers. Story number 5. Ooh, tickling the ivories.
How can a genius like Beethoven create masterpieces though deaf? And how could Mozart create full classical
It is a very good
compositions
question.
at the age of 5?
Those are some talented mofos right there. I wish I was that good.
Since he was a child, he could captivate audiences with his musical gift. But can a gift be taken back?
Like losing his gift?
Everyone knew the name Nathaniel Bourne. I made my debut when I was only 11 at Carnegie Hall with the New York Philharmonic under Leonard Bernstein.
That's a great start.
The next 22 years of my life were like a dream. I sold millions of records and played in all the great concerts.
So if this is true, this is probably someone famous.
While playing my signature Chopin concerto, I became frozen. It was an artist's greatest nightmare.
Like you just forgot how to do it?
Somehow, I tried psychiatrists, hypnotists, everything I could think of. Nothing worked.
Yeah, like short of a stroke, I can't think of a reason that would happen.
I'm not scheduled to play again for the rest of the year.
Yeah, you gotta get this figured out, I guess.
Why don't you call Martin Schiller?
Yeah, who's that?
He was your first teacher, and you always spoke so fondly of him.
Okay, maybe this guy's still around and can help.
Martin always came exactly at 5 o'clock on Saturday. He'd bring a piece of chocolate, and he'd tell me, as soon as the lesson is over, you may have the chocolate.
That'd motivate
I
me.
honestly believe I used to play better just knowing that piece of chocolate was waiting for me.
Yeah. Get your wife to try that.
I set our visit for 5 o'clock on Saturday.
Oh,
I
same
certainly
time.
wanted
Dude's
very
consistent.
much to see him.
I wonder how old the guy is.
Nathaniel! Martin!
Okay.
How have you been? I could complain, but what would be the point? People hate complainers. You haven't changed a bit. Let's get to work.
See if you can fix this block.
As soon as our lesson is finished.
You got the
Have
chocolate?
this chocolate. Told you about my problem. Sit.
Yeah. He's not interested. Just play the piano. Very good place to start.
Even though it was just simple scales, something inside me was making it impossible.
Wow, you can't even do that? I can do that.
I'm sorry. The chocolate is waiting for you.
Don't disappoint the chocolate. All
There
right.
was an energy coming from Martin's hands that I felt throughout my entire body. I felt
Okay.
like his hands were still there, guiding me, but I was on my own.
Okay. Okay, good start, good start. It's the most he's done in a few months, I guess. Oh, he's back, ladies and gentlemen. Just took a little visit from Willy Wonka.
What happened next was totally unexpected.
Is it going to turn out that Martin's actually dead? I've seen too much of this show.
We've never met. I'm Martin Schiller's son, Stefan.
Ah, you just missed
Okay.
your father. He left moments ago.
That's impossible. I came over to tell you why he missed his appointment with you. My
Okay.
father passed away in his sleep last night.
I saw that one coming. And the chocolate's here, still.
From that day forward, Nathaniel Bourne resumed his stature as one of the world's great pianists.
Cue the
Schiller
comeback
visited
tour.
Or did the entire incident exist only in Nathaniel's mind? But then, how do you explain the chocolate? Wasn't that proof of Martin Schiller's visit?
Yeah, you'd think so.
Was this
This is basically someone who studied with Leonard Bernstein, who is a real person, and, did a bunch of concert tours and all that, and all of a sudden just had this mental block and couldn't play the piano anymore. So, calls his old teacher and just takes one visit, one chocolate, and he's back. But then he gets a visit from the son, and it turns out he died in his sleep last night and couldn't have actually been there. So again, the pianist saw Martin in his mind. He was the only one there, so it very well could have existed in his mind. Somehow the chocolate had to appear too, but maybe there's another reason for the chocolate being there. Maybe it's something that his wife left on the piano or something like that, as a good luck thing. Usually, although not always, when there's a connection to a real person like Leonard Bernstein, who wasn't actually in the story, but he was mentioned, usually when there is a connection to a real person, it ends up being true. Obviously, I don't think they use the person's real name here. It would be interesting to know who it actually is if it is true. Some musicians do get stage fright and do get frozen by anxiety and stuff like that. He's not a pianist, but Donny Osmond I know had a very famous battle with stage fright and just being frozen out there and he ended up working it out and getting back to it. So maybe it's something like that. But in any case, I'd be very interested to know who this is. And I do think this one is true. So that's what I'm going to say. All right, we've got our answers. I have marked stories 1 and 4 as fiction. I have marked stories 2, 3, and 5 as true. Let's see if episode 8 is a good one for me. Let's go.
Now let's look back at tonight's stories and find out which ones are inspired by actual events and which ones are totally false. What about the woman whose family and very life were saved by a special candle?
I said fiction here.
The fire went out all by itself.
If you thought this story was based on a real-life occurrence, you're right.
Right.
A similar story happened to a woman in the East in the early 80s.
All right, missed the first one.
How about the flower that caught a murderer?
All right, I said true here.
Hey, so, you guys get any leads yet on who murdered my uncle?
This one has to be false, right? Wrong. Our research shows a similar incident happened in the New York area in the late 70s.
All right, so that's 1 out of 2.
What about the escape artists who couldn't escape their terrible curse?
I'll be
I
standing
also said
vigil
true
for the
here.
entire
I'm just worried about you boys.
I won't die in there, Frederick. I promise you.
Well, he
You
didn't.
thought this one was phony. You're right.
That one's phony.
Never happened.
Okay. So 1 out of 3.
How about the old bike that brought good fortune to a family torn apart for years?
And I said fiction here.
Property of Johnny Morgan.
Yeah.
Dad.
Daddy's bike.
Have you heard a story like this before? You may have.
You
A
may
similar
have.
event happened in New England. In the
Wow.
90s.
1 out of 4, okay.
Let's have one more look at the story of the music teacher who returned from beyond to inspire his prize pupil.
Save me, Piano Man. All right.
I felt like his hands were still there, guiding me, but I was on my own.
Did a similar story to this one take place?
Yes?
Perhaps.
Perhaps?
But this one.
Ah, no. So just the one.
Is it possible to determine the fake from the real, or are we dealing in a realm that is
Maybe not
truly-
tonight. All right. Wrap this video up. All right, guys, thank you for tuning into my reaction to Season 4, Episode 8 of Beyond Belief Factor Fiction. Can't believe I just got a 1 there, man. I thought it was doing pretty well. I definitely thought that last one had to be real. That 1 brings me to a season total of 20 out of 40, which is an exact 50-50 split. So in order to get back up to my average, which is more around 55%, I think, I do need, a very good 5 shows to end the season. And yep, there are only 5 shows left in the entire run of the series. So let's make it a good 5, shall we? I'm still speechless about just getting a 1 there, but it happens, I guess, and we move on. Episode 9 next time, but that will wait until next time. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Check out my sports vlogging channel. And until next time, this is Jordan saying you can be productive sitting at home on your couch. All you need is a TV, a great catalog, and a vision. This has been Jordan's Vision. Have a good one, guys. Take care, and bye-bye.